You're listening to Sip and Grow the podcast, the show where we taste awesome, delicious wines while having unfiltered conversations about our passions, experiences, struggles, entrepreneurship, and life. My name is Nicole Di Pasquale, and I'm a wine enthusiast just trying to pursue her passions and dreams while taking you on the journey with me, one episode at a time. My ultimate goal is to not only bring you wine knowledge and value, but also inspire you to enjoy your process and journey in pursuing your passions and dreams. Because guess what? The person you become while enduring the process is more important. So sit back, grab a glass, and let's sip and grow together. Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Sip and Grow the podcast with me, your host, Nicole Di Pasquale. So today I actually picked up a wine from one of my clients' liquor stores in Boynton Beach. It's Liquorland 2, if you guys want to check it out. It has a great selection of wine, and I just randomly was in there needing, I wasn't randomly in there, I was there for work, but I needed a wine for the podcast, a white wine specifically, and I was just like, you know what, let me just take a look real quick and get something before my day ends so that I can bring something to the show. And here it is. This is Terlato Vineyards. It's a Friulano, a 2018 vintage. So Friulano is, this is from Northeastern Italy. It's located in the Friuli Venezia Giulia region. Specifically, the area is called, it says it here, Friuli Colli Orientali region. So it's in the northeastern part of Italy, and it borders, which is the part that borders Slovenia. But Friulano is a grape varietal that I haven't personally tried. It is an indigenous grape to Italy, so you'll mostly find it there, but it's also very popular in South America, specifically in Chile, and I believe Australia also has some planted some Friulano grapes as well. But I'm excited for this one because it's supposed to be similar to a Sauvignon Blanc, but the difference is that this one tends to be a little bit more full-bodied, and a Sauvignon Blanc tends to be a little bit more acidic and lighter-bodied wine. So we're gonna go ahead and taste this one today to see and if it's, good or bad. Of course, everything is objective. But looking into this family, actually, I didn't realize how important this or big this family is. So Terlato Vineyards is a vineyard in Italy, but Terlato is the last name of the family that owns this vineyard. And they actually started in the United States in like the early 1900s. The grandfather, he started like a retail shop for random things. It was a retail shop for like flowers and like funeral designs, and this was in Brooklyn. And then after they went to Illinois and opened, I think it was like a grocery store. Yeah, it was a grocery store, and I think it was like a very long story, but the grocery store, they I think got first taste for like selling spirits and wines in there, and they expanded. So after the grocery store, they got into the distribution industry by buying a distribution company for wines, and then after that they created like an importing company. They just kept on expanding basically, but it all started with the retail shop in Brooklyn, and then it expanded to a grocery store, and I believe they went to they opened up a liquor store before buying the distribution company. But they basically got into the industry and created like this massive empire because now, fast forward a couple of generations, it's still owned and operated by the family members, and they are also in charge of Margarita is a very popular wine. They were in charge of like that specific wine, And I had also read too that they were really good friends with Robert Mondavi. So Robert Mondavi, if you don't know who he is like one of the most like an important American winemaker, like one of the most important American winemakers within the 20th century, I would say, because he is actually one of the founders of like Opus One, which a lot of people know what Opus One is, which the other founders for that one was Baron Rothschild family. That's like everyone knows the Rothschild family within the industry. They're kind of like, I like to compare them to like the Rockefellers of the wine and spirits industry. I don't know. They're just very well known. And they basically just created this whole entire empire and opened up vineyards in California, I believe also in Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. And then they went ahead and opened up a vineyard in Italy. And they got into all parts of the industry. So like owning a winery, owning an importing company, owning a distribution company. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. But it's kind of cool to see their evolution because it all started in, like I said, early 1900s. And it just like all progressed up until 2025, where they've just collaborated with a lot of well-known brands and wine producers, and they keep on expanding and getting into different niches. But one of their biggest ones was like really importing fine wines and also building good wineries under the Terlato family name. So this is one of them, and I'm excited to try it. So as I open it up, let's go ahead and see what it's about. I'm excited for this wine because I feel like I do like Sauvignon Blancs, but sometimes they're a little too like, was that a bug? Sorry, I thought a bug got on me. Sometimes they're a little too like, not exciting, but I have had like really delicious Sauvignon Blancs. Oh, that was a bug. It's right here. That's disgusting. So reading into this one, they actually, so their fermentation process, they, the grape Friulano, actually let's talk about the grape before I get into the fermentation process. The grape is kind of, like I said, the most popular place to plant this grape is in Italy. I think 40% of the country's like Friulano grapes are planted actually in Friuli Venezia Giulia, but they this grape is tends to be high yield, so that's like it's not necessarily bad. It's just you have to like really pay attention in the vineyards and like monitor the grapes so that you can get the best quality wine out of this specific grape, because grapes that tend to have high yields, it's just kind of like you can either have a phenomenal wine based on when you like based on picking the grape at the right time, which obviously that's for any grape in general, or if you pick it a little too early, the flavor profile just might not be there. It might be a little too diluted. Like there's just so much that can go wrong with that, especially on a high yield grape varietal. So reading into this one specifically, what they do is they ferment it. They ferment half of the must, or I should say they allow half of the must, like one part of the must, when they pick the grapes and start making the wine. Half of the must goes into malolactic fermentation in oak barrels, and the rest, like the other part, is just fermented in regular stainless steel tanks. And once the malolactic acid the malolactic fermentation is done on in the oak barrels, what they do is they combine both and they kind of just mix it up in the lees, and ferment that for another 12 months. Or they allow that, they stir it up for another 12 months. And then once that's stirred up for 12 months, they bottle it and they blend it, bottle it, and then put it out to the market a couple of months later. So it's a very interesting process. I feel like, remember that malolactic fermentation is a process that allows the wine's texture to kind of smooth out, and that's what will give it like a nice creamy texture or velvety texture. So it is important. It's more common in red wines than in white wines, but there are white wines that have it, which this is one of them. Chardonnay is another big one, or oh my god, what's the other one? It's Chardonnay and I forgot the other one. But I know Chardonnay is like one of the biggest wines that definitely almost always have malolactic fermentation. And then some Sauvignon Blancs do, but others don't. It's just, I guess, like winemakers' preference or what they think best suits that grape from the region that it's coming from. So immediately looking at this, the color of this wine, it almost looks like crystal clear pee, like kind of like when you drink a lot of electrolytes, when your pee is like electric yellow. That's what it looks like to me. But it's very interesting because it does have like a very mineral smell to it, with like almost like, I'm not gonna say pineapple, it's more like peachy, like a peachy undertone and floral undertone to it. So I'm really liking the nose on this. Like the acidity is coming through in the sense of like I smell like kind of like lime a little bit, but then I get hit a lot with the floral notes and the sweetness from a peach. So let's go ahead and try it and check it out and see what's up. Ooh, so definitely like medium bodied. I really, really like the texture of this wine because it's very smooth on the tongue and it goes down nicely. It has a nice balance between acidity and like herbal notes. I feel like it's more on the herbal side of things. Definitely pear, hints of pear coming through, a little bit of the peach, the sweetness of the peaches coming through. And the herbalness to this, it's almost like, I don't know, like wet grass. Like, you know, when in the morning when the sprinklers have just been like watering the grass for a little bit, and that like, I don't know, wet grass or like watercress, I guess is a good way to say it because I've eaten watercress before. But I really, really like the crispiness to this wine. I feel like it's a good balance between acidity and like fruity notes, but it's more on the green fruit notes with a hint of peach and a lot of herbal notes coming through. I really enjoy this wine. I think this is a step up, like above a Sauvignon Blanc if you want something a little bit heavier but still gives you that freshness that a Sauvignon Blanc brings. So this would be a perfect option. This to me is like a summer white wine. So on a very hot day, I think I would prefer to drink this versus the Sauvignon Blanc. But I have had very good Sauvignon Blancs that I would choose to drink again and again. This one cost me $15.99 at Liquorland 2 in Boynton Beach. I actually checked online, and this one usually costs $24. So it's a freaking steal right now at that liquor store. Also, it is a 2018 vintage. I would say the best year to drink it is probably right now because after like 5 years, I would say, like, unless, you know, obviously they have it in a well temperatured area, so it's fine to drink, but like this one doesn't have a lot more years to go before it goes bad. So I would definitely drink this year or next year latest. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. I would say my rating for this one would probably be an 8.5 out of 10. I think like this will be my new white grape varietal like go-to if I want to get something different that's not your typical Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Grigio, or Chardonnay, like if I want to be a little different out of the box, but still feel refreshed, I'm gonna go ahead and get this bad boy. But anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I will see you all on the next one. And remember to drink your wine tonight and let me know if you tried this one, if you liked it, whatnot. But cheers to another episode. See you on the next one.